Jesse North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me begin, if I may, by paying tribute to President Zelensky. Thanks to you, Mr. Speaker, he gave an extraordinary speech here this week, a speech like Auden's Shield of Achilles, a speech of poetry and hope, but also of steel. He showed that Ukraine, far from being bowed by Russia, is now sharing its expertise in counter-drone defence with nations across the Gulf and elsewhere. I also give thanks for the swift action the government has taken so far to support households, including many in Herefordshire, now facing sharp and unexpected increases in the cost of heating oil. Mr. Speaker, as Herefordshire goes, so goes the UK. The events in the Middle East have exposed a hard truth. This country is dangerously exposed on energy, and the government's policies are compounding that vulnerability. Around a fifth of the world's oil and gas, LNG, passes through the Straits of Hormuz. When that is threatened, prices spike. And when prices spike, everything else is hit: heating, electricity, industry, jobs. Every industrialized economy relies on secure and affordable energy, yet we import in this country around 60% of the gas we use, and we pay far more than our competitor nations and around 3 times US prices for it. So when shocks come, the benefits of higher gas prices go to other countries, but our citizens bear the higher costs and added insecurity. That structural vulnerability has built up over decades under governments of all the major parties. But this government is negligently or deliberately making it much worse. They've blocked new North Sea licenses and sent a clear signal that domestic oil and gas production is to be run down regardless of demand. The consequences of these decisions are already visible. The CF fertilisers plant near Chester has closed thanks to high energy costs, so this country now imports ammonia instead. The Grangemouth refinery is ceasing its refining operations and becoming an import terminal. In Aberdeen, Scunthorpe, Teesside, investment is falling and companies are failing. Thousands of jobs have been lost and tens of thousands more put at risk. Little wonder a host of businesses and unions, including Unite and the GMB, even Renewables UK, have expressed their concern. These are not isolated events, Mr. Speaker. They are the predictable effects of policy decisions taken by ministers without any serious consideration of the economic and strategic consequences in the current context. The Energy Secretary often says the problem is global gas prices and that increasing domestic production makes no difference. Of course, that is nonsense, because domestic production actually boosts jobs, public revenues and national resilience while lowering emissions. But that line is also dangerously misleading. Gas prices are regional, not global, because gas, unlike oil, is relatively expensive to ship and store. The Energy Secretary is confusing a global market with global pricing. It is a basic error. Alas, the Chancellor is no less confused. On Tuesday, she said, and I quote, "You see countries like Canada and Norway increasing their production, and every country has to play their part." But of course, in her view, that does not include the UK. Her policy is precisely the opposite, not to increase, but to reduce oil and gas production. You could not make it up. Shortly, we will hear the Business Secretary make a statement on how the government wants to increase domestic steel production, even while it is stopping the domestic oil and gas on which that steel production relies. It's an absolute nonsense. Mr. Speaker, cut domestic production in the face of steady demand and imports will fill the gap. But an increasingly import-dependent system is forced to rely ever more on pipelines, LNG cargoes and interconnectors. These are vulnerable, fixed assets open to damage and disruption from abroad. And there is a further consequence. Modern conflict is determined by industrial capacity, steel, chemicals, fuels, supply chains. Yet the government is allowing these national sovereign capabilities to erode. So, this is a policy that increases carbon emissions, deprives Britain of tax revenues, worsens the balance of payments, hurts consumers and businesses, and weakens both our energy resources and our national security. That is quite an achievement. Mr. Speaker, it is hard to imagine a more confused or dangerous approach. I don't want to debate on this topic. We can all see what's happening. At some point, there must be a U-turn because Iran is making a fool of the Energy Secretary. No, I desperately want the Leader of the House to get the Prime Minister to see the madness of this approach and get the policy changed as soon as he possibly can.